Thank you so much, Kat. And welcome to my home. You're on my home turf. And I've been speaking at this conference now. I think this is like 5 years. So it's really, really dear to my heart. You know, when the Don't Forget the Bubbles crowd invited me to speak today, they said they wanted me to, they gave me a title, Breaking the Fairy Godmother's Wand, and they wanted me to talk about what happens, or this is what I guess, they wanted me to talk about like what happens for me when things fall apart, what happens for me when everything kind of goes pear-shaped and I feel like maybe I can't go on. And so I'm great at dispensing advice for you each year, and I come and give you everything I have to try and help you kind of move forward. But what do I kind of do for myself? And so I thought, this is interesting. I think I'll dig deep. And so what you're going to hear today is a presentation about a presentation that you're never going to hear. So I decided, okay, the theme is growing up. I thought, wow, I have rich material when it comes to my growing up. And so what I decided I would do was I would dive right in to my experience of growing up. It was rich and fertile ground for all the things that I have learned to deliver around compassion and love. I think you could describe my growing up as scrappy, violent, and chaotic. Rich material, right? But it wasn't enough for me to just want to give a presentation. I wanted to go really deep. I thought, I'm going to get up here and I'm going to give the most vulnerable, unraveling presentation that you've ever heard. Because trauma does that to you, right? It makes you want to give more sometimes than you have. And so I set out to find a coach. And so I hired an actor who could work with me so that we could build the most extraordinary script. This was good. I worked really hard. We met in cafes. And then when I felt like I had the script about how I wanted it, I thought, I'm going to test this out. So I'm going to just do a rough read through with my partner of more than 30 years. And so I sat him down and I said, okay, this is a tough one for me. I'm going to give you what I've got. And so with a little lump in my throat, my heart was beating, I ran through the story of my childhood in 15 minutes. I mean, I left out some of the really difficult things. This was kind of quite a sanitized version. And when I looked up, he was crying. And he said to me, that's the saddest story I've ever heard. And I thought, oh God, that wasn't the reaction that I was after. It's like, that's not going to go down so well. You're such a sensitive soul. I must try this with someone else. And so I met with the actor, and again, I had clipped little bits out and I did the script and okay, here we go, this is what it is, and off I went. And my coach said, whew, that's powerful. But you know what, Mary, you've only got 15 minutes and this isn't a play. I mean, it would make a great book, but you've only got 15 minutes and you've got to have you got anything funny or light that you could throw in there? And I went away and I thought, okay, I'll take out large chunks of my life to make it easier for you to hear. And so I set about doing that. And we met again. I said, I think I've made this workable now. And he said, okay, let's do a run through. And so I ran through it, just like I'd added a little bit of light and shade. And when I looked up, he had the same expression on his face that my partner did, and his eyes were full of tears, and he said, oh God, that is so sad. That is, to be honest, Mary, I'm worried about how you might keep yourself safe telling a story like that in 15 minutes, and how you might look after the audience. And I actually felt a bit gutted. And I said, no, of course I can do this. I've set out to do this. I'll make this work. I'll find something that's a little, I don't know, maybe there is some light in there. And I left and I went home. And the next morning I caught a look of my face in the bathroom mirror. And you know what it looked like? It looked just like his and my partner's. It looked really sad. And I realized that I had ignored the fact that I had stopped sleeping at night, and I had started to lose my appetite, and that I'd actually become a little irritable, and I'd started to withdraw. All of this to create this powerful story that I thought I needed to deliver. I felt like I'd failed big time. And to be honest, I had no idea what I was going to say when I stepped out on the stage today in front of you. What have I got if I can't tell this story? I felt like I had unleashed a monster. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like you set out to achieve something, to deliver something really powerful or really important? Maybe it was a project, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a promise, but you've set out to deliver something and then you've realized you can't deliver? Have you ever set out to do something and then had this crushing feeling that you had failed? Yeah, am I talking to friends? Have you had that experience? Have you ever put yourself out there so far that you didn't realize that it was having an impact on you? That you had stopped sleeping? That maybe you had stopped eating? That you were skipping yoga and saying no to your friends? That was exactly how I felt. And what on earth was I going to deliver when I got up here today if I couldn't tell the story? And there I was, out on the middle of the tightrope. You know that feeling when we're out here and even looking down makes us feel nervous? And an old tremble that I used to feel had come back. And here I was on the tightrope. I had set out to slay a dragon, and now the dragon was slaying me. I'd broken my own goddamn wand, and I was stuck, and I couldn't move back, and I couldn't move forward. I have this idea that life is like a tightrope, right? There's this place that is like where we've come from. And then there's a place that we call the destination. And I had become transfixed with this idea of a destination. And that all that mattered was that I could make it to that place that I thought was so important. So now was not the time to shop, to watch Netflix, to eat ice cream, to ring everyone I knew, and to distract myself. When you're up there on the tightrope, you know what you need to do? What I did. You need to relax. And so I settled in, and I thought if I can just slow everything down and not try and escape this miserable, lonely feeling, and let's just see what it might do with me. And so I started to practice the thing that I always fall back on. I started to breathe really slowly. And I would each day remember to just breathe in and then to breathe out these longer exhalations. And just slow myself down. And then I started to come home to my own body. And I started to think about, where's this feeling of threat? Where is it located? Is it in my throat? Is it in my heart? And then I realized, this isn't a dagger. This isn't even a sword. This is a flower. And if I can just relax into it, if I can just be here in it, I might just get to see it bloom. And as always happens, little by little, things started to lighten up. And I felt like I was moving again. And I felt so extraordinarily grateful. Just filled with gratitude that finally things were lifting, and this hadn't done me in. And then I started to practice the thing that I have practiced most of my life, and that is collecting moments of gratitude. But I do that in a strange kind of way. I've been writing a continuous poem called Reasons to Live Through the Apocalypse. And I have been writing it for so long, and it is long as, and I started to add, I found more reasons to live through the apocalypse. The crimson of rosella feathers and fairy lights at night. Oh, and safe landings. And the trees that reflected on the surface of the dam. And they and them, the way pronouns are doorways to love. Letting go of an idea like a magic trick. And meeting myself in others. So many reasons to be grateful. Gratitude brings us alive. It fills us with love. It remakes us. It remoralizes us. It's my fallback. And maybe even as you're sitting there right now, you could think for a moment, what are you feeling grateful for? Blueberries, Japanese incense, tears, strong coffee? What are you really feeling grateful for? And then I started to practice the other thing. And that is, I started to remember that we are never, ever alone. When we panic, we think that we're alone, and we think that we're the only one that is experiencing what we're experiencing. But we are never, ever alone. We're part of this robust, beautiful community. And things fall apart, and then they come back together, and then they fall apart again. And I started to remind myself of my mantra that I've said for as long as I can remember. Right now, it's like this, but it won't always be like this. And so I remembered that when I published my book, Compassion Revolution, I had an online conference, and I was explaining to the audience that the reason I wrote the book was that even on our weirdest, darkest, most miserable day, that we're never alone, and that there's always this community of people that hold us. And even as Uncle Moogie said this morning, that our ancestors have prepared for us all the things that we step into. And so we're never alone. And so I said to the audience online, you know, sometimes we tell ourselves the most critical and harsh things. But if your dearest, dearest friend called you right now, I said to them, what would be the advice that you would give them? And I said, I want you to just come off mute and tell me, what would you say to someone sitting in the audience at the Don't Forget the Bubbles conference in 2023 who might be sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm having the darkest, weirdest moment of my life? What would you say? And we recorded the advice that they gave. And here's the nerdiest truth. I started listening to it again. And I listened to it often. And I found it really, really comforting. And then I discovered in Canberra last week that people send the recording to their colleagues when their colleagues are having the worst time, and they listen to it. And I put the QR code in the front of my book, and I called it a traveling prayer. And what I want us to do today is I want us to listen to that recording. And I want us to maybe let the sound waves reach us, because this is what a community of health professionals all across Australia and beyond, this is their advice for us when times feel really dark.
You're right on time. You are just what I have been waiting for.
You are perfect right as you are.
Everything you need is right within you now. It's okay if you need to lie down today. Tomorrow could be different.
You don't need to do it all. You just need to be your wonderful self.
You are loved and you're enough.
Know that you're always loved.
Just be you in the world. Be okay to be yourself.
Be you, that is just who you and us need you to be.
Listen to the beat of your heart. It's saying love, love, love.
We can see the amazing things you bring into the world.
Love.
Just keep going.
Love.
How you are now is okay. What's going on now hurts, it sucks, but you matter.
Darling heart, I have so much faith in you. You have everything in your hands to create the world that you imagine beyond your wildest dreams. Everything that you need will come to you just as you need it. You are powerful beyond measure. I love you so much beyond measure.
If you need time, just be. I love you then, always. Just be.
You have everything you need inside of you. I love you. I'm here for you for whatever you need, however you need it, and whenever you need it.
I see you, and you are perfect.
You make a difference every single day, and it's okay to pause and take a breath. Every single day.
You are the stuff of stars. You are infinite. You belong. You are everywhere you should be. You can stop. You can wait. You are of the universe.
You are safe. You are secure. Everyone loves you in different ways.
Whether it's one step backwards or two steps forwards, I'm here to cha-cha with you all the way.
Whatever your best is, in whatever capacity, it will always be enough.
I'm here for you. It's okay to be sad. Just be you.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
Just know that you are loved for all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you will be.
You are loved always. Keep doing what you are doing and stay on the journey.
You, my dear friend, you are so extraordinary. In all of the world, there is no one more worthy of your attention and your love and your care. Right now, it's like this, but it won't always be like this. Start now. Use what you have. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Thank you. That's so beautiful.
Wow. I don't even know where to start. That was amazing, Mary.
Thank you.
So much. Some of your words really spoke to me about how we're all on this tightrope, and we feel like we're on this tightrope all the time. And I can't remember when I've heard those words and said them to myself, and I say them a lot to other people, but that's such a thing to say those things to ourselves. Does anyone have anything that they would like to ask Mary about Compassion Revolution, about being kind?
When's the conference? Okay, Andy says, when's the conference? So those of you who know me and know Compassion Revolution, you'll know that every year we hold an international conference. This year the theme is Making Work Beautiful. If you're interested in how we can recover, make work beautiful, we've got incredible international speakers coming from the States, the UK and Denmark, particularly focusing on post-traumatic growth. It's a gorgeous event. It's beautiful, second only to how beautiful this is. I would love to have you. Please visit our website, compassionrevolution.care. and come along. It's in October in Melbourne. But you know something else I want to tell you, the practice of gratitude is really powerful, and many of you would have a gratitude practice. And at Compassion Revolution, we are holding a month of gratitude in September. And if you would like to join me and others to practice gratitude throughout September, visit our website, compassionrevolution.care, and sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to dig in and see what it's like if we can, for 1 month, practice gratitude, how it might change us. So I really invite you to do that with me.
That sounds wonderful. I think we're all going to do that.
Please.
Just practice a little bit of gratitude every single day. Wonderful. Thank you, Mary.